Hello, hello. See if it worked. Always gotta check. Always gotta check to see if it worked. See, Moto Alley, what's up, man? I was writing a comment back to you. No, there's no legends here. You're looking at a mirror. You're looking at a mirror. That's what you're doing. I don't have my light on. Nothing's on. That's all right. Just trying to do like a quick stream here. Let's see if it works here. Volume good? Okay. I think I'm good. I gave myself some extra time. Moto Alley, you know about this. This was it was gonna be like a little impromptu. I didn't do too much of all my lives. I typically do like a day or two in advance, and what I did this time is I was originally just gonna hit live, and I may do that in the future. That's kind of a thing I want to mess with, just certain things. But because I want to talk about how I make my thumbnails, I was like, well, let me make it a kind of like educational or somewhat educational. I don't know. It's just what I do, at least. And turn my light on here. Super bright. Super bright. I think I turned this off. I can't remember. Bam. All right. Let's go back to not that. All right. It's something like that. All right. I set everything up but the lights. So, hey, I hope you're doing good. I hope everybody's doing well. I know it's colder and it's rainy. It's rainy where I live right now. We had some thunderstorms and stuff, but I'm going to get into it kind of quick because, like I said, I don't want to take too much of y'all's time. I'm going to be up all night. Trust me. I'll be up all night. What we got here? Nine PM sharp. It was like 9, right? 9 sharp, sharp as a butter knife. Yeah, it just wasn't hot. It wasn't a hot knife, but no, thanks for showing up here. I'm going to jump in right now. My goal is, and I already got it pulled up. My goal is to scrub through this. This is the video for Thursday this week. Today's Monday, right? Yeah, today's Monday. So I got to go to work Wednesday, and then I'm on a 5-day break. What's up? Now I got a little overtime too, so it's all good. It's not a full 5 days off, but it's fun overtime. So like media team stuff, we're gonna do some filming. For those of you who don't know, we're making a documentary. I'll touch on that just briefly. We're making a documentary, and for our fire department, some event that happened back in '96, and maybe I'm sure I'll get into it a little bit more later on. But part of the old trusty monster, part of that documentary, or really all that documentary, it's new to all of us. It's an extremely important topic, and it's going to go on the city's YouTube channel eventually once we finish it. There's pretty much three of us working on it for the most part, and none of us have done a documentary. My extent of editing and stuff is pretty much come from this channel, so definitely nice, a blessing in disguise when it came to that. And I love editing. Filming and photography is completely different to me. I'm learning. I really am enjoying it, but it's definitely Moto Alley, you can attest for this. It can be, well, personally, there's no pressure, but when you try to do it, I guess, professionally, that's when it's pretty nerve-wracking. And it's the same thing as making these YouTube videos when it comes down to it. I guess I could do this. Can I do this? I don't even think I have I messed something up on OBS, surprise. So I don't have like an actual talking head straight to the camera, which is fine. It's whatever. But doing it professionally is there's a lot more pressure involved. So just to jump into it, let's get moving then, right? Let's see. Yep. You're not here long? Yeah, that's fine. Hey, dip in, dip out, dip out. Don't come back in. It's all good, man. You're fine. I just wanted to, like I said, I was thinking like maybe 30 minutes, an hour tops, but maybe closer to 30 minutes if I can stop rambling. The goal is, and I'll explain my process, is to go over. I got a cursor here, so I here's my timeline. It's not done yet. I've got some music I want to put in, and maybe a couple other things I want to put in, take out. This green right here is my GoPro footage, and the red or pink, whatever color it is the 360 footage. So basically, anytime you see a gap, and I'll go over that another day, but see, that's the difference between it'll show the gap in the GoPro footage right here will show my 360, and when that GoPro footage is on top, it's obviously going to show the POV from my GoPro, which is my typical. That's like camera 1 for me. And this is where I started. I got a marker here. You can see right where the cursor is. There's a marker there. And just above here are some subtitles and everything. So I can make sure I can transcribe it. And I was thinking about messing with that. It just takes too long. I was going to, because some of the stuff I say, it's not transcribed correctly. Dang, I'm all over it. I wonder if I can delete this real quick. Remove and add. See if it'll fix it. Nope. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh well. This is the size of me the rest of the day. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the camera. Anyway, I'll figure it out off camera, off the live. But anyway, what I plan on doing here, I got it muted, so you're not going to hear anything, not giving anything away. I've blocked out the text or the captions. What I was trying to say was I used to correct the text for the captions, but it just takes too long, so it is what it is. And there's not very many people that have the captions on. I mean, it's like 15-20% maybe. And most of the captions are right, but I'm sure it's got me saying funny things, but I say funny things anyway. So the goal in this when I make a thumbnail, I scrub through this. I've done it in the past. I've had a few in the past that I've actually purposely gone and shot. For example, I can pull up these are basically my thumbnails that I've done in the past. Not all of them, obviously, but these are just a bunch of them, and it doesn't count my lives or anything. So as you can see, like this one right here, this was actually it's just a picture. That's not even the thumbnail. I'm not sure where the thumbnail is, but basically this was actually on the side of Jimmy John's, because it had of course, Jimmy John's. Awesome place. Toasted Subs, number 11. What's up? But it had a nice black backdrop with the brickwork and everything. So I was like, yeah, let me hook that up. So that was pretty sweet. And then I adjusted it in Lightroom, which I can show you if I can find it quickly. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. So I'll move it over. So Lightroom, and then this is after. So you can see like what you can do. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive, and that's a lot of fun to mess with that. All right. So then what I do is I find a picture or whatever picture I plan on using, and then I bring it to Lightroom. I adjust it over there, color correct, grading or mostly just color correcting. And then I'll bring it to Canva, which you just saw, and that is where I put my text in. I'm trying to phase out of Canva. It's, I think, $120, $119.99 or something like that, $119 for the year. So you save money by not obviously doing it monthly, like a membership or subscription. But I'm paying for the Adobe, and so I get Photoshop and Lightroom. I use Lightroom. I've used Photoshop like a handful of times, and that is very foreign to me. There's a lot of like Adobe, like even like After Effects, Premiere Pro. I got a good grasp on, but there's still so much that I can learn from Premiere Pro. So yeah, come back for the rewatch. Yeah, work calls. Yeah, you got to go. That's fine. Yeah, download Lightroom. I tried it, but I just use my computer editor. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever works. That's the thing. The biggest thing is whatever works for you or for anybody, like go with that. I was editing on Clipchamp, which comes with, well, I think you can download, like, there's like a free version, I'm pretty sure, and the same thing as Canva, right? There's a free version. Not all the fonts, for example, the fonts I use, they're behind like a paid wall, for example. So that's what I learned on Canva, and I learned on Clipchamp. And the reason why I went to Premiere Pro is my buddy 5 Day Photography, tennis, right? My buddy, he had Premiere Pro, and he's bounced back from Premiere Pro and DaVinci, because DaVinci Resolve, the one thing that's great about DaVinci and editing is it's a one-time fee that you can just buy it outright. And he says like the color grading and correcting are better over on that for example. So he uses that. What's up, Rascal? I got a Redskin conversation to have with you in about 30 seconds, a minute. Just happened today. But I jumped over to Premiere because I'm not saying I was at the ceiling of Clipchamp. This was a couple years ago, but I could see the ceiling was here, and I was coming up, and I didn't want to get to the point where I outgrew it, you know, in one of those deals. So I went ahead and just jumped because I was in an intermediate level, I guess, of learning that program, not editing necessarily, because I still have back then and even now, like still have so much to learn. I'll never feel like I mastered anything when it comes to it. I can be good at something and have some confidence in myself and my skills, my abilities, but that doesn't mean that I've mastered it, right? So I wanted to jump over to Premiere because I knew that ceiling was, you know, well, past the camera, but I wanted to have something that there was essentially infinite possibilities. And I knew that Clipchamp, eventually I was going to run out of that ability. But let's say I learned that program inside and out. But as far as an editor to edit with keyframes, for example, and motion graphics and all that stuff, like, you know, everything was preset. So it's nice and you get to learn it. But at the same time, I was like, I want to get to the point where I'm not just like plug and play. I want to learn how to do that, how to make that, how to save that template, you know, preset, for example. So that was my thing. Yeah, Rascal's in the chat. Yeah. So that's why I jumped there, and I got, you know, the cloud. I don't remember what it's called, Adobe something, but Adobe Creative, whatever it's called. But that's when you get Premiere. You get them all for a certain price. I think there's a free version of Lightroom, for example, but there's just so much you can do. And the other thing I'll warn you on too is find whatever computer, laptop, monitor you're editing on. When I mess with my actual videos, oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. I can say the size. When I mess with my color grading, I have to edit on my laptop. I have to color grade on my laptop because if I do it on the computer screen here that y'all are looking at, it's brighter. So when it looks good on this screen, then you switch to another screen, it's not going to look good, or most other people's screen, or whatever. I'd rather have it to the truest color pixel rated, you know, screen visual aid for that matter. TC, what's up, man? Microsoft Paint for the win. Is that what it says, for the win? Yeah, for the win. There's a heart in the way. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, TC? All right, quick Redskin, and then we'll jump into to finding this. What's up, y'all? Hope y'all are doing well. So I went to, real quick, Rascal, I went to Chick-fil-A, and behind me, you can see obviously the Redskins, the blanket there. This place that's a whole different story. I was gonna get into it later. But this place is like, there's so much stuff going on, so much stuff I've added, so much, there's wires everywhere, there's stuff behind me. Like, I got to clean this place up. I think tomorrow might be just it could very well be like just clean this whole place out. I might get rid of the bookshelf behind me. Not that, wait, boom, that badass metal print right there. See, that should make it bigger so you can see that. But that metal print, my head's in the way. I got to bob and weave for it. But I want to fix this up. I need to fix it up, and tomorrow might be the day. It could be a good day for it. But Rascal, I went to Chick-fil-A, and the person gave me my food, and she said, "Oh, I like the Commander's headrest," and I looked at her and I was like, "Oh yeah," and they're the Redskins. I haven't bought anything Commander related. Somebody gave me something that was like a Washington football team back before they were the Commanders and after they were the Redskins, but they're still the Redskins. It's whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks, yeah. You like them? I was like, oh, I love them. And she goes, my dad does too. And I was like, your dad's a smart man. But I said, when they move into that stadium, I said, I talk too much. I said, you tell your dad that a customer at work said that they are going to move into a new stadium as the Redskins. They're going to coming back home as the Redskins. What's up, South Oz? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, welcome. This is just a quick stream. I talked to Moto Alley earlier. I think he's working, so he's in and out or might be out. But I was just kind of jumping on real quick and kind of go over the beginning. I already talked about how I go about the couple softwares. I'm going to go into it right now and actually demonstrate it. But I also didn't get my camera right, so this is good for me. This is as big as I'll be on the screen today. But I was looking at like 30 minutes, hour tops, and it's already been like 16 minutes. So let's get moving. What I do is I scrub through my timeline. So this is the video for Thursday. I have to figure out. I actually was going to stream at 8 o'clock an hour ago, hour 15, but I needed to watch this video again, and this video is a little bit longer. It's back to like 20 minutes or something. I know I've had a couple short videos, short for me, like 12, 13 minutes. So this one's back. There's a little more, I guess, my rambling, but there's a lot. There's some. I think there's some discussion points to be had, and a conversation at the end for those who make motovlogs. And I got my my dog and actually a couple quick images of my wife, who said, "Don't film me, don't record. Are you recording?" So I got a couple pictures of her in there coming home from work. But I'll just go through and I'll just scrub. The thing is, I'm not at the point, as I mentioned earlier, there's a couple times where I have an idea of what I want to do for a thumbnail, but I don't see. It's easier to grab a screen grab, and one of the things like I can't stand. Well, I say I can't stand it. I can't stand for me. There's that borderline that curiosity, storytelling, and clickbait, and there's somewhere in the middle of plain text. I would love to just have a title. You know, if it was, let's say it was about motorcycle, like wind therapy, and you just put, you know, a therapy session at 60, and not even put 60 miles an hour, just put at 60, or at 40, like my age or something like that. Therapy at 40. That's not a title. I mean, actually, it's pretty. It might be a pretty good title, but I'm trying to think. Let me think of a worse example. Something about like the stars aligned. Okay, and it's like by the time you got your bike back. It was from the shop. It was just in time for riding season, for example. So you were able to do that. Stars align. That's not a clickable title, as they would say, right? So it's hard to find. You got to have something that's. I don't typically change my titles, especially after I post them. It's like less than 1% that I change it. And I just changed this last title because I was talking about going to Virginia to Oklahoma in one click, and I meant like one click of the mouse. Then I got to thinking about it because it was being clicked a lot. It was, at first, like as far as my impressions, the impressions were like 150 after like 2 days. So like it didn't go anywhere. It just kind of like stay stagnant. Those of you know what the impressions are. And then I read something on the studio. It said those viewers are choosing to click, but they're not choosing to stay long or something like that. So I was like, all right, well maybe let me turn this off. I'm sorry. Maybe it's in the mindset of what's it called? That it's clickbait. Like you click on your mouse and then you go from Virginia to Oklahoma, you know, in one click. And so then it was like, well, that would be perceived as clickbait, and I didn't want it. So I changed the title, and I like the title better now. But that's that's an example I do. I don't typically change the title, and I leave it as is. It's like a thing. It's been said. My buddy told me about it, and it's like a post and ghost thing. And he got it from somebody else he mentioned. So, but he said like you post it and you ghost it. Like you don't go back. I'm a numbers guy. I can't ditch numbers. Oops. I can't ditch numbers. It is what it is. Hail to the Redskins for life. Yeah, they're coming back. I'm telling you, they're coming back. All right. I've got a leak for my battery usage and my chat here. So I got to keep an eye on that. It's at 10%. It started at like 15. Okay. Can I do that? Okay, that should be good. All right. So that's one of the things. But what I get at is I try to have the image of the thumbnail be pertinent to whatever the video is itself, right? I think that makes sense. But I had to watch and remember exactly what I was talking about, and I was like, first 5 seconds, I was like, oh yeah, duh. So what I need to do this conversation, not getting into it too much. But this video, and it starts here. This is all stuff I got to get rid of to the left of it. I need to, it's basically like what has changed from the start of riding a motorcyclist journey or motorcyclist journey to where they are today, present day, whether it's, you know, a year or, you know, 30, 40, 50 years the other direction. So I kind of just went into like my story. So basically I need to figure out what like a screen grab, a thumbnail would be for that conversation. And obviously, like you have this is during sunrise, so that'll help out a little bit. But you have sunrise, talk about symbolism, right? So starting a journey, 2017 to today, and that amount of time, my comfort level, whether it's balance or riding the bike or being able to talk and chew bubblegum at the same time, right? So be able to talk, whether I have this and having the camera, where is I would have loved to have documented the beginning part of my journey, which is the other channel that I'm making with the photography, documenting the beginning of that versus where I am today, as far as riding, for example. So I need to find some sort of, like I said, symbolic image, still image at my 30 frames a second here. All right, so I will, what you got, TC? I hate clickbait. Yeah, clickbait style thumbnails or titles. YouTube seems full of it recently, especially because, well, I'll get that. Well, especially from the bigger corporate channels that have flooded the platform, heart and away. Yeah, and people get away with it, especially like the bigger. And YouTube, that's the game, and that's a whole different conversation. One day I might have a rant. Well, I've already had a rant, but like a dedicated rant, a positive rant, because everything is, I'm in a good place. But just the YouTube coaches and gurus and stuff like that, like I want to poke holes and all that. But the whole clickbait thing, and I'll start scrubbing. The clickbait thing is it's annoying, but it's all about, if you could have the greatest video, and I've heard this a few times. You have the greatest video behind whatever, the most powerful message. I always go back to that everybody should have a YouTube channel, even if it's private. That video I wanted to succeed. Near misses I wanted to succeed, not for my channel, but for that message to get out. But having Google give you infinite cloud storage and put it on private, and just sending the link to family, friends, loved ones, yeah, it's perfect. Whether you edit or not, there's a home video sent across the internet. And you don't have to worry about your 15 gigs that you're allowed for free storage on the Google Cloud. All right. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I like this scene right here, and I already know that I can make with the colors, the sun rays coming through the tree right here. And what I'm doing is I pick, I mean, it just depends. I scrub through the whole timeline, but I'll try to pick, like for today, I'll try to pick 5. And then once I think this one's pretty good, so I'll do like I'll take a picture of it. And then I'll just type it A. And the next one will be A, because there's a couple numbers on here already. I can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my desktop, but I have like A, triple A, quadruple A, and then I'll go from there. But once I like this one, by the time I get to the 5th one, I'll look back and I'll say, oh, this one's nothing compared to the the 3rd one or the 5th one or something. So I'm just looking for one. I'm not into like the A/B testing of YouTube, where you make multiple thumbnails and then after a while, YouTube shows you which ones gets clicked more. I don't know. I got holes in that theory too, because the beginning, you're going to get a lot of clicks, especially depending on like if it goes out to your subscribers. So that's obviously going to be inflated, I think, differently. You can queue any stat, right? All right, so here's, even though it's next to a graveyard, here's another. I got to keep the motorcycle with light. I got to give light to the motorcycle. So I'm going to do this one too. So 2 A's. And because I might be able to change that sun a little bit, or it's not as blown out. And I'll zoom out because I don't need to spend like too much time. You're supposed to spend a lot of time on your thumbnails, because obviously you gotta get the click, right? If you like my quotes, there's another dumb one in this video. So here, it's not, if I was in this lane right here, the left, oh no, hold on. Yeah. If I was in, see there's two lanes right here. I can zoom in a little bit. Sorry, fellas. Okay. That's much better. All right. If I was to do this again, if I knew ahead of time like I was going to take this shot, it's not good with the clouds. I was going to point on screen. I got a cursor. The clouds right here, or not the clouds, I'm sorry, but the trees blocking it with the shadows. But what would have been really cool is, come on. If I was in, geez. If I was in this left lane right here, so this bridge right here, or well, bridge overpass, two lanes go to the left, two lanes go to the right. And then obviously you can see I'm going to descend pretty quick, but if I was in this left lane right here in the same scene, right, let's see. It could have been like a division right here. I mean, as far as like symbolism in a title, I mean, a thumbnail. Obviously I'm not going to use this, but just, that's the stuff like I'm trying to key in and I'm trying to pick. That's how my mind works, but YouTube doesn't work. So, so I'm wrong. But that would be kind of cool if I was, you know, in the division between, and this was, I have no idea what my thumbnail was going to be ahead of time. I'm literally making it now. All right, moving on from that. All right, so this right here. All right, I'm taking this picture. So I can take this traffic advisory right here, traffic light, and I can put 2017 on here, like a text. And here I can put, you know, 2025. So just thinking out loud. But the problem is, yeah, when I hide stuff, yeah. You're probably one that looks for it, so I appreciate that, man. I was like, I joked. I think I said something about it to somebody that it's like, Where's Waldo? As far as the episode number, those are my favorite books to read. There's a joke in there somewhere. All right, but I can have. So the other problem you have is with YouTube thumbnails, and most stuff is viewed on a mobile phone. I think this is gonna be longer than I thought. I don't. Anyway, y'all don't have to stay. Once again, I do YouTube wrong. Y'all don't have to stay. Don't feel like you got to stay. But I just want to get everything across, my point across here for how I do it. But YouTube is viewed mostly on mobile phones these days, so the screen's smaller, so therefore your thumbnail's smaller. So you go from TV to desktop or laptop, computer, whatever, to tablet, whatever, which is like single percentage points as far as what's watched on a tablet. And then you have, you know, your small. Obviously, I mean, it makes sense. Everybody's got the computer in their pocket. So if I put the date here, it may not get seen, but I'm still going to save this picture because it's pretty cool. I'm just trying to find the biggest picture of that. And what I'll probably end up doing, let's see. I'll go back a little bit. And I'll take these, I'll resize these so they're bigger as far as the actual sign itself. I can delete this. Yeah, let's do that. I can delete this pole that's right here. I can erase it. Resize these, which I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do. But regardless, I'll take away the sign itself. So we might just do this. And just for conversation, we might just edit this one. So screen, 3 A's. Save that. Yeah, I like that. And Rascal, I'll see what I can do about hiding another episode number. If Fallon comes up here, I got a carrot too. She can have a treat. All right, let's do that. Let's just mess with this. So if I hit this. Oh, we might be in. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so now I got to work on, just like I was saying, I have to go from the monitor, my gaming monitor, right? I have to go from that to the laptop, so my eyes gonna be focused here because this is gonna have the truest color when it comes to pixels, lighting, exposure, all the all that. So I'm gonna transfer from here to over here. And I remember making that mistake before, where this one's much brighter. This is my old man eyes. I got to be able to see in shadows and take out these people in Call of Duty. So here is going to show the best, the most true to scale. Whereas here it's easier for me to see. But I remember editing here, color grading, and thinking, I was like, oh, it looks nice. And then when I moved it over something, or I put it online, I was like, oh man, what the heck? All right, so let's pull up. I'll pull up Lightroom first. And then I'll gotta move. You can see put OBS over here. Yeah. OBS. All right, and now I gotta go and share the other one. So we'll do this. So now you're seeing that screen. And now I'm up here. I'll figure out where I need to put me. And I will grab, we're just going to grab that first one. Or third one, I'm sorry. Okay. Yep, add this photo. All right, so now I have this one selected. And let me move me. Oops. That's not it. Two seconds. Boom. All right. I'm not even fitting on the screen. Yeah, all my dimensions are off. Question from Rascal. Is your bike where you like it, or is it still a work in progress, such as style, cosmetics, sound, and so on? Just curious. Okay, Rascal. So here's the deal. Wait, hold on. Oh, no. The answer is no. Look, I got the wrong. No. Come back. I have the answer is no. I'm going to try to talk through this. But the exciting thing is you're on my webcam now. Is that going to work? Let's see if this works. Give me 5 seconds. Watch this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nope, not gonna work. I don't know why it's not working. I'm gonna show you what I see. This is what I see. I don't know what's going on. Something messed up here, but oh well. Just gonna be here. This is me. All right, we're coming back. That's crazy. Dude, come on. Come on. All right, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not fitting. But Rascal, to answer your question, I have plans for the fall and probably more so the winter time, because I want to make sure that in the things I want to do, well, they're cosmetic. I guess it's the functionality, but I'm trying to I'm going to meet with, there's my camera over here. I'm going to try to work with a company in the fall / winter time. Maybe get the conversation started in the fall. Overall, small channel. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I still want to do it even if they don't help out, for example. But I definitely want to change some stuff. So I want to make a video. I'm trying to tie this channel. It was kind of a, you know, everything about me in a way, because I talk about life motovlogs more, and I still talk about stuff in between, riding motorcycles and stuff. But I'm trying to like kind of maybe pull the reins back a little bit and do more motorcycle content. I hate the word content, but I'm gonna say it. Topics and stuff like that to film more of this channel, just because I have the other avenue with photography. And I mean, I still may leak some of that stuff, and I'm going to leak motorcycle stuff over on the other channel too, because to get to the destination to film whatever it is that I'm going to film, or fly the drone, or you know, take some pictures of some landscape, or whatever I plan on doing, whatever I find out that I enjoy the most, I'm still going to take the bike. There's days I'm going to take the truck because I want to bring Fallon with me. Yeah, so as far as doing stuff to the bike, I already have the exhaust I want. I have the seat I want. I've actually never sat on the stock seat, so I'll film a video between the Mustang seat and the stock seat, because I still have it in my closet behind me. Oh, nice. You can see all my crap now. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I got to clean all that stuff off. So I want to do that. I had a windscreen, so I made just for you know, jokes. I might put what windscreen I had on before, and just kind of show like, or show the bike stock, you know, for the most part. As far as I got the mirrors still, the stock mirrors, they call them Mickey Mouse mirrors. They were chrome. I may put that on for an episode and ride around. Like, this is what this bike minus the exhaust, because I can't change the exhaust, obviously, or I'm not going to. And then the saddlebags I can take off and take a picture of it, and like, this is what the bike looks like. This is like what it looks like when I bought it. Add the windscreen, for example. I tried to go back and look on Facebook Marketplace, and I tried to look at the message where I bought it back in 2017. So I see the chat feed that we had going back and forth, but I don't see the pictures. I only see the one picture, which is the initial like picture for it. But it'd been awesome to see the 3 or 4 pictures that they had back then. All right, but I definitely want to do something about it. You're sub to all my channels? Yeah. No, I appreciate it. So my thing is it coming? No, it's not Monster. Yeah. Yeah, this is it is actually a motorcycle company for parts, aftermarket parts and stuff. I'm trying to stay tight-lipped somewhat from that, because I want to work on some stuff. My goal is, like I said, I'm gonna reach out and figure out I'll figure out how to do throw the feelers out there if I can get some. Whether it's I might just ask for, you know, if I advertise these parts on my channel, I want to do a build series in the winter time. I've got some winter gloves I bought from Amazon. I bought them. They were on a couple, maybe 1 or 2 episodes here, but I didn't want to do like a review because it was like the tail end of winter. So I want to review those gloves, and they may have a different style, but the concept of these winter gloves. So I wanted to do some stuff like that, some reviews. I don't know how structured I want to do it necessarily, but for the parts that I want, or my idea that I want for upgrades, for sure, I do want to take that obviously a little more serious and stuff. And I plan on doing, like, I got to change my oil. I actually don't have to now. I'm not due, but I want to change my oil, get a new air filter, and replace spark plugs. Do a little tune up. And I'm not gonna drag it out to like multiple videos and stuff, like how to. Maybe in the future I would do something like that, but I'm not like super mechanically inclined. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing with my motorcycle particularly. So maybe I'll just film like the process and talk about, you know, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I just know that I mentioned in a live a few lives ago that I was going to do some maintenance videos. Like I said, I don't really even need to change the oil necessarily now. I can wait till the end of the season, but I might just knock it out. I ride year round. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question a little bit, probably with more questions, but that's fine. Ask away. So I definitely want to do that. I'll ask you a question there, Rascal. Are you able to mess with your build? Have you done anything with that lately? Not sure if what you got going on with that. Hopefully all is well. You're here, so that's awesome. I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of your channel. the rebranding, the rebirth of your channel, and whatever you got going now. You just film whatever you want, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what YouTube should be like, to to a point. That's what I used to do like that, and now I'm back to just having fun and not chasing metrics and all that stuff. All right, which is more fun. But there's a goal obviously at the end, because I want to do this. I want to retire and do this between multiple channels and stuff. Just to talk about those channels, and I will start erasing. I'm gonna erase this poll real quick as I talk about the other channels. Can walk and talk at the same time. Let's see if I can do it. So my goal is for that other channel, Rascal. I don't know how I'm going to advertise it, and I don't think I'm going to advertise it necessarily. I think I'm just going to, there's going to be crossovers. My last live, I was talking about a fictitious day of July 28th. Had nothing to do with that. It was a random day when I was talking to my buddy about it. And I just mentioned about, I just mentioned about, like riding to, let's say, Bellsmount Park, which I had an episode about before. Riding to Bellsmount Park, talk about, some motovlog story or something. Going to the park and filming and doing some video there or whatever. And then riding home and maybe talking about it, on the other channel. So that's the only reason why if I had like a video and it said, hey, if you want to see the film of my photography, there's a channel for that. And then ride home, whether I'm talking about motovlog or talking about both or something. And then at the end of the night, it could be about like, playing games or playing Call of Duty, playing whatever. And then even with subscribers, I think would be a lot of fun. And that's really kind of the thing I thought of. So July 28th could be a fulfillment of like every channel I have, that's one of the things I was looking at. All right, so to erase this, I just have the erasing tool here. I'll get to your and I'm not like navigation here. I actually do this on my phone. It's a whole lot for me. That's just my comfort zone from what I've done. Because like even like moving this up and down, come on. It's so much easier for me on my phone. I just don't have the muscle memory right now. All right, that's the whole image. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm taking the erase tool here, removing. This changes your brush, how much you want to erase. And what the computer will do, if I want to make it smaller, because I don't want to disturb as much as possible. So if I just hit this, I'm going to miss that, hopefully. Hopefully I missed that sign. It looks like I did, for the most part. And then from here, I'm just going to subtract it. It's going to give me 3 different options. Which camera? It's going to give me 3 different options. So subtract. Now I'm not adding anything. I'm going to hit remove. It's going to do its generation of that AI. It's detecting the pixels. And as you can see, it's actually pretty damn good. So if I look at, let's see. Why can't I zoom in? There's got to be, I know there's like a, whatever. So that obviously the poll's not there. And if you go through, I think I already did it. Here, I'm going to do it again. Well, you can see it. Actually, that's fine. Redo change. Come on. Cool. I don't know what just happened. All right, let's erase it again. Because, and the reason why I'm doing this, I didn't go all the way. The reason why I'm doing all this is because I want to keep people's eyes focused. This poll is going to get in the way. And I want it to be wide open when I put 2025, for example. So I'm going to hit remove. All right, what you got while this is loading up? So don't, Rascal, what I'm saying is like, don't feel, that's why I wasn't sure like how I wanted to do it as far as advertisement. You are more than welcome, and I'd be honored, you know, honest, no bullshit. Like, I'd be honored anybody that subscribed over there and wanted to watch that. It's me starting over. So it's definitely kind of, it's weird to me. I'm excited because it's not like my first video ever editing, but it's a completely different mindset topic. I want to have a conversation about like my journey into photography. So if Moto Alley, if you're watching the playback here, I think you're at work, but he just had a mini series commence, and he released a video where it was all three of those. As a matter of fact, your thumbnail was awesome. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about that, how you had it like on a film strip, and it was 3 episodes. That was really cool. But those 3 episodes, and made one video. It was like 42 minutes long, and he edited if you're listening, but he edited it really well. Where instead of just stacking, when you watch videos, because I watch like they call it like a master class. It'll be how to do this. Like for example, Lightroom. I need to get more involved on the desktop version. So when I watch a video on how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, and then that particular YouTuber, I hate that YouTuber, that particular educator on YouTube, there you go, will compile all those things, like how to do this, how to do this, how to do this, and release like a master class. And it's like, you know, it might be 2 hours long, but it's all his videos. The difference between Moto Alley is he took out like the beginning and blended them very well. So it was very seamless. If you were just listening to him and you didn't see the actual video itself, or weren't watching the video, and even then it was pretty good, where it really wasn't noticeable, honestly. Actually, I should have said that, because it's really not noticeable. And it might have been, I didn't even look to see if it was filmed on the same day. The weather looked the same, so it may have been filmed on the same day, same ride out, but it just kind of blended in perfectly. Whereas these people, these educators or whatever you want to say, you clearly see a definitive end and they leave that in, a definitive beginning and they leave that in, which that part's kind of important because you want to know. But all their ads were in, their in video ads were in, for example, what they were trying to sell. Yeah, so. Oh, dang. Oh, you gave him, okay, sorry, I'm reading and talking at the same time, or reacting. So, Rascal, you said, yes, actually, my boy joined the Army, Special Forces. He leaves tomorrow. I gave him the bike, but it's staying here. In the meantime, I'm gonna work on it. Then him and I can work on it together. Dude, that is so awesome. Sorry, I have to, that heart is in a way, and I can't read. I can't read. I gotta move it to get around that heart. So that's why it's broken up. First of all, that's badass. I appreciate your service. I appreciate your son's service. That is, I tell you what, as far as a profession, you know, giving back and all that, like, you know, the military and just in general. So that's, I know there's some proud dad vibes going, and obviously some other emotional stuff going on too. But that's awesome. Good for him. You raised him right. Yeah, no doubt. But that's really cool, and to be able to have that to work on and stuff like that. You talk about like getting goosebumps, like memories made, man. Memories made. I remember helping my dad, you know, just helping him. And I was the standby guy. I always joked I was standby. I'm on standby. He dropped a nail. I'd pick the nail up. Here you go, you know, or screw or whatever. Hey, give me that hammer. I'd give him the hammer. So, but I remember all that stuff, like being able to help out at that age, let alone being an adult. So that's awesome. Oh, no, for real. Nope, we go mutual respect there, Rascal. All right. So as you can see, the Lightroom here, I was able to delete that poll. Like I said, I want people's eyes to focus on less. Less is more kind of thing. I delete cars. I delete trash, like this right here. If you want, just for fun, I think this is trash right here. It's not snow, I can tell you that. So if we get rid of this, I'm not saying, see that's gone, and we can go through different, like I said, there's 3 different versions it gives you, or you can redo it. And I meant to redo this, but this looks fine. I'm not going to worry about it. I was just showing you. So I don't know. Can you see that? Right here, there was some trash, and I got rid of that. So first one looks the best. So we'll go with that. What am I at? 7%? Oh, I'm going backwards. I'm at a deficit. I lost 3% while charged. This is a better charger. I'll lose the chat forever. All right, this is good. This will work right here. I've got so much stuff on my desk. Look at that. I can put the phone right here, just on the pile of my GoPro box and my 360 box. I've got a Snickers over here too. I've got headphones. I've got all kinds of cords everywhere. Yeah, I got to clean this up big time. Need some organization in my life. If you delete cars, does it delete the shadows too? No. So you would have to do that. Excellent question. Excellent. Look at that. Excellent question. But that's the attention to detail that you would need. And sometimes it just doesn't look right. Certain things won't look right. Like if I wanted to just well, you know what? We're just going over some stuff right now. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but I'm not gonna look through anymore. I just want to go over this. This is general idea of what I do. So going back here, let's say you wanted to get rid of the lines, for example, just random conversation here. Hey Fallon, you want a carrot? Right? No, she's downstairs. She'll be back. So if you want to delete that, boom, it's gone. Hit some variations, so you can see like that one's probably the best. So if you want to do that, I can hit delete variation. Oh, you can. I didn't even know that. And then there's back. So you can actually take that variation out. Okay. Once again, learning. So that's pretty neat. I mean, you can do all that, erasing shadows like this long one across if I wanted to. Once again, I'm zoomed in, so if you go back to the original, that's the original, where these probably don't really matter necessarily. They're not really getting in your eye. So I've got a good range of light and dark when it comes to the shadow. The sun, the bike's in the sun right now. The sky, you can see obviously the sun's to the left. I've got my let's erase this too. My two signs that I want to use. So let's do. Oh, is it trash or a piece of wood? It's probably a piece of trash. There's trash everywhere. I watched a documentary, and it was talking about they followed this Japanese firefighter, in Japan. They followed a Japanese firefighter, and the firefighter actually like walked to work. I didn't see where it went. Let's see. The firefighter walked to work, and the person that was filming the documentary that was trailing this person, got a carrot, buddy? Want a carrot? He said, one thing I've noticed is there's just no trash. Like your streets are clean, and basically the firefighter was like, it's because we take pride in our name and our environment. You know, you don't see people just drop trash. Here you see it all the time, and perfect example. All right, let's see. And what is this over here? Probably more trash, let's be honest. So I'm not typically one that would like get rid of like every little piece, but for today's video we are. She gone. I saw something too. It was funny. It was like I think it was on Instagram. It was a reel. In Lightroom, they erased something. They were trying to erase. I don't even know what they were trying to erase, but erasing that turned into a person. So like the genitive remove. So the genitive fill where it filled in something, just put a random person in the woods, and I started laughing, which is obviously kind of creepy too. Wonder if you can hear that. What time is it? 9:55. Let's see if you can hear my AC going. It's getting a little warm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's only gotten better. I remember watching my buddy do this a while ago. And you can like add, like let's say there's a instead of a 16:9, so like what you would see like landscape, like a thumbnail, if you had like a 9:16, like a YouTube short, so that aspect ratio instead of something like this, you can actually, the computer, the AI can generate like extra space that doesn't exist. based on calculating the pixels and where things are arranging in the picture itself. So like, it's like if you want, AI can detect a car. So if you give half a car, it will try to produce the other half, and not just the other half of the car, but it'll try to produce the front end of the car. And depending on how good that AI program is, it may recognize, you know, a truck, that it's an F-150, so it knows what the front of the F-150 or what's missing should look like. It's kind of wild. So not all AI is bad. Not all. The ones I like all this stuff. All right, so let's just change. That's good enough for like going through there. Let's mess with some of the color. Once again, make sure you're on a good, good screen. Lightroom, this is another thing that's going to help me out if I'm not necessarily watching somebody on YouTube tell me about it, but I mean, I get obsessed with this stuff, and I'll go down that rabbit hole, and this will help me with the other channel too. But you can, being a beginner, you can just hit auto, and this is what the computer. So auto settings use the power of AI to analyze and choose settings that create a beautiful, pleasant photo or pleasing photo. So if I just hit this is what AI thinks it should look like. So going back, if you look here, I'm pointing and showing the cursor. So if you look right here, this is your color. Okay. So your color right here, and your light's going to be here. So when you talk about exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks, that's based on light. That's not color. If you're looking at color, that's right here where you talk about the temperature of the color. So perfect example, not the right camera. I got the wrong camera on me because this one, for some reason, I got to fight with it. The camera's fine, but the OBS is not fine. But I want to fight with that off camera. So if I go to, let me minimize this for a second, or just move it over because it's right here. If I take this light, okay, so look at me, and I change, when we're talking about color, if I go to a cooler temperature, I should start turning blue, okay? And this camera, I think, has like might have auto on too or something. I'm not sure, so it might be trying to fix. If I go, and it was already at, they measured in Kelvin, so it was 5600. If I go to a warmer setting, I'll appear orange, and the camera's trying to compensate. But as you can see, if I go fast, you'll see it orange, and then it kind of compensates. But if I shoot it real quick to the left and cool it, it goes blue, and then it starts to compensate because it's on an auto white balance or something, I'm sure. So I'm just gonna leave it 5600, and we'll leave it at that. But that's when you talk about the difference of when you're talking a picture in relation to color versus light. I'm gonna start with light, and we will go from there. So then the original image, YouTube likes a certain look. I was watching Moto Alley. He was talking about or branding, like he was talking about his logo or his metal print shop. If he's talking about well, it was in his live. It was basically talking about, like, he didn't like the word branding, for example. And I get what he's saying, and everybody's different. My goal is to try to keep the firefighter logo, the name. That's my brand. That's why I have firefighter studio, firefighter gaming, and they're all that circle logo with the different image, whether it's a camera, a motorcycle, the Honda Shadow, the Nikon D5600, and then a PlayStation 5 controller. So my goal was to keep the theme the same, change a little bit, change the saying below, it's like the slogan or something, but it was firefighter studio, and then firefighter gaming. Because that's what I'm trying to develop a brand. That's what I'm trying to do for after fire department. One of those deals. And the reason I say all that is because I need to find a way, or to figure out what I want to do, and to make my thumbnails somewhat similar, so that you know that this was like, this is a firefighter, whether it's a font, the font color, the style, or something like that. So I'm trying to figure out that. I haven't really delved into it other than just screen grabs, but some of them I'll do, let's see, auto's off, right? Yeah. Some of them I might do where, you know, it's brighter, or some of them I might do where it's darker. And these are the extremes. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it. The episode number typically was the same font, unless I hide it somewhere, and I might try to do something different. But that's cool, Rascal, that you noticed that, or I know we talked about it before. Or I've talked about it on the channel at least here. And thumbnails, you really don't, once you look at them, you just click them. You don't really actually look at the thumbnail. Or typically, like I said, with Moto Ali's, his series that he combined and making a thumbnail for that was awesome. It turned out really well. And I didn't notice it until I was going to write the comment on it on the second time. I had to write the comment. So that was cool. All right, so starting with light. There is, let's see. I should pull up. So I don't know. I'm still, like I said, I'm still learning. I'm not blowing smoke up anybody. How's my battery? Oh, we're up to 9. We're moving. We're positive. We're going up. When it talks about histograms based on light and based on color, RGB, so like red, blue, green. So as you see here, like red, green, blue. This is based on like the colors and how the pixels are identified in colors and all that stuff. Like you can change just the colors of the greens, the blues, the reds, and then this should just be, I believe, the light. I don't know all this stuff. This is the process of me learning. I just kind of go by visual, and I know what they do. But when you start looking at histograms, Premiere Pro has it. My buddy was teaching me. He was like, Premiere Pro does it where it's based on pixels, and then Lightroom or vice versa. I'm not really sure. One of them will show you like I can pull that up if I can do it in 13 seconds. Color. Okay, let me switch. Show you what I'm working with. Boom. So when you look at here, this it's the same image because we did a screen capture, right? You take this. If you look over to the left over here, this is based on your whites and your blacks. So these are histograms, or one of them is like Luma histogram. This is skin tone, which I don't have to mess with. But if you take these broken wings and learn to fly again, every time I say something that's a song lyric, I want to finish it. If you take this, for example, right here, these are your whites and your blacks. If you bring the whites down, hold on, I wasn't selecting the right one. I gotta select the right one. All right, here we go. If you take the whites and you darken, so once again, I'm gonna go back. If you look at the image, if you look at just the image itself, it should darken because I'm taking my whites and I'm bringing them down. Okay. So that painted line right here, for example, if I brighten it up, that painted line turns really bright white, but you're doing the whole picture. So it's at 50, it's at neutral, or 0, it's at neutral. Now if you look at the histogram over here, you want to stay below 100 and above 0. And I've heard that it's even 90 and 10. So it depends on who you ask in one of those deals. But if you darken this image all the way down, you see how the light over here, the histogram has dropped. So if I take the blacks and I darken these and take the whites, and this white solid line that's right here, you can't really see too well, but maybe on the screen, and depending on what you watch it on, that's the black is beyond black. You're just going to start introducing noise. So if I zoom in, take my hand tool, I know this, I don't know Lightroom very much, but you might start seeing some dots, some like red dots or something, or almost bluish. I should say, I think white is actually red. So you might see some bluish pixels or something. It's like beyond like the color black or something, if I'm explaining it right. And obviously we know that picture is trash. It's dog water. So let's go back to that. So what you could do on this image, for sure, I know this, is if you bump the exposure, I mean I'm adding more light, artificial light to the, which camera am I at? Oh, I'm at this one. I'm adding artificial light to the picture, to the image, right? So as I do that, I'm watching the histogram up here. I don't want, same thing. I don't want to go over here and have everything blown out. So look at the sky. So I went from here where you can see the blue, and the white over here is not necessarily the clouds, because that's where the direction of the sun. So that's going to be brighter. Especially, I got a GoPro. It's not going to, depending on my settings, I got it on auto white balance. So it's going to change as the image changes, and I say video more so. You got to remember that each one of these frames right here, I'm shooting at 30 frames a second. So each second is going to be 30 of these little frames. When I used to shoot 60, obviously it doubled. It was a sharper image because it had more information. So as some of this, as I'm moving, some of this might be out of focus, as in like a blur. Right? The detail is not nearly as good right here as it would be if I was shooting at 60 frames a second, especially if I zoom in. And it has something to do with the camera itself, the lens, which is a GoPro. Man, I'm getting in the zone now. I was getting in the zone with these lives like an hour in, so if anybody doesn't know me, they watch the beginning, and all it is me messing up and drinking Monster. Y'all the real ones. Let's see. No, the computer's a machine. Oh, okay. What's up, Moto Alley? Yeah. I talked about you a couple times, dude. Not back for long. Just want to see how much I've missed. Okay. Well, I'll show you. I'll fill you in real quick, and I'll come back to this. Basically, I just took... I don't know if I'm going to use this image exactly, but there was a pole here. I erased that. Erased the trash. Erased. And I was getting into color and light. So this is the image. Oh. My bad. I'm showing you on the wrong screen. That's the image. There's a way you can see. See, I know on my phone I can do it. The original image. Well, I can pull it up. I'll do it the Bobo way. This was the original image. So you can see the pole. Pole's removed. That's removed. Some trash is removed on the side. And I was just going over the erasing tool, and now I'm going to go over color. So I started talking about light, everything like that. I don't know a lot about Lightroom. I know it way more on my phone than I do on this version, but I need to learn the desktop version instead of erasing it with my finger. All right, let's go back to this. Okay, so going back to this, if I'm looking at the light, adding the artificial light, I'm looking at the image that matters, because like I said, I don't want to completely overexpose over here and blow that out. And I'm also looking over here. It's not a there we go, this camera. It's not a dead set rule that I have to rise all my colors or my light up to the very top towards 100. If I want to, Moto Alley, MA, and I were talking, how you do photography, how you shoot, how you snap your shots, your video, that's completely up to the creator, the artist, the person, the individual in general. Unless you're shooting for a company, a business, and they want it shot a certain way, that's completely up to you. I've mentioned on Instagram that I wanted, and I might have said it here, I wanted to learn the rules of photography so that when I break them, I can tell you why I broke them or why I went against said rule. I watched a video one time, and the guy it's like 20 things. It's like he had 20 pictures sent in, and he critiqued one thing out of everything. This basically made a video, an example of why this should be photoed differently. And he contradicted himself like 3 or 4 times on one topic, as far as framing. So if I was going to frame this, so is it still on it? Yeah. So if I was going to frame this, and if I wanted, like you break it into a third, right? Rule of thirds. So you have, basically sections like tic-tac-toe. Either this is in the middle, that's how we do motovlogs, because it's pleasing the eye. This is literally y'all riding with me, or you riding, and if there was a no commentary, it's kind of just like a ride along. If I was getting into motorcycles and I wanted to see, a Harley Fat Boy, or if I wanted to see Road King Special, if I wanted to see a Kawasaki Ninja, Yamaha, Suzuki, whatever, if I wanted to see that, or Honda Shadow, and I went to like a no commentary ride, I'd want to be here. I wouldn't want the image. I wouldn't want me as the rider. I wouldn't want it. Oh, it's not going to show because I got that. I wouldn't want me over here, right? And then all this would be filled in. Then that's not how you would do a motovlog properly. You could if you wanted to, but that just, for obvious reasons, it doesn't seem to make sense. But for photography, if I had somebody over here and they were talking to somebody in the next scene, they need to be looking to the right if the other person is looking to the left. So that would be, or videography or something, if you're making a commercial. You wouldn't want them both looking on one side, but I may not put that person right in the middle. Those are the rules I want to learn, so that if I break them, I at least can tell you why I broke them. Anyway, again, same thing for video if you wanted to. I'm sure I'm overcomplicating what I need to do, but I'm on a rant. All right, going back to the color Lumetri scopes. So once again, if I wanted to, I could add some light, and this just makes sense to me as opposed to the Lightroom, which we'll get back into. We'll just finish building that and get out of here. As far as the temperature, how much I want to do as far as cool it or warming tone or cooling, depends on the time of day, for example. So if you want something that you can kind of combat maybe some of the overhead. Another way to combat it, which I got to learn, I want to make a video on that, is like indie filters. I've got a set for the GoPro and a polarizer. I want to kind of do like, what they do, and I'm learning myself, what they do. But as far as that, it's like, they're like people probably know, but they're like sunglasses for your lens. So they fit on your GoPro. You can just change out your lens from the GoPro, from the original one to different severity levels, like harsh sun, direct overhead, noon. Those rides, my motorcycle looks the worst. You can see the sun hitting my tank. You can see the paint swirls from washing, I guess, over the years, or just imperfections. No chips, but it's just looks like scratches. If you wash a bike or you wash a car and you really want the paint to stay, obviously garage kept, but you're supposed to go like in line with where the direction of travel would be. If you start swirling like this, like you're getting a good clean, like you'd wash your body. You ever thought that Motovlog Live would talk about washing your body? Well, here it is. If you wash your body, you're not going to go up and down straight. You're gonna rinse. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I talking about? But you know what I mean. So same thing as a paint swirl. What a great comparison, right? Analogy. Moving on. All right, let's just go back. Let's go back. What we got here in the chat real quick. Yeah, in Moto Alley, as far as like dipping into the thumbnails deep, it's a lot quicker with time, experience, which is time. You gain it, you garner all that, and it's actually pretty quick. I'm just going over like whatever the steps, but for the most part, like you can look at all these, the histogram, you can look at the color, light, all that stuff, or you can just go by the image itself. So let's start really messing with this. So I'm not gonna go lighter. I want to go darker if I'm gonna do anything, but really, it's not gonna do much. I'll take it back. And that's the difference of YouTube. I'd rather have, you'll see, I'm gonna mess with the sharpness too. My motorcycle looks dull right here. So if I start, I'm not usually gonna go down here, but if I start messing with the blacks, and now look at the bike, the difference of the bike, if you can see. Am I sharing it right? Yeah. And you may not see it. It may be more subtle to you than what I'm seeing. More likely. Let's zoom in. All right. So that's the picture. That's from the GoPro. If I bring it down, I'm going to make that image, that black, more vivid, right? I just want to make sure that I don't go too dark to where that black starts to look like a blue, like have a bluish tint or hue. I really can't look. I was trying to look at this, but this screen, my other screen's brighter, like I was explaining earlier. All right, so we'll leave it at there, and then we'll go back. Fit. So anything that's black, I just in this whole image, I just darken the black, whatever's black. So the whites, if I darken the whites, I'd rather brighten those. So if you look at, I just want to look at the sky. There's masking effects. So I could do this individually, where I could separate what I have here in the landscape, the trees, the foreground, and basically the background being the sky. I can separate that with mask. So I can make all this, showing it, yeah. I can make all this darker if I wanted to, and leave the light or leave the sky brighter if I wanted to. But like I said, just not getting into it too much. I'm just gonna go in order, and if I get that far and I start messing with it, I'll do that. If you take this red, so the only thing that's red, well, you have this. I'm gonna erase too, but like this red, the kill switch. If I wanted to, I was gonna take all reds. Hold on. That's a bad example. I need to go to actual reds. I'll get there. I'll come back. But I can actually take that red. Okay. I can take that red and brighten that up or darken it, whatever I want to do. But whatever else is red would change, would be affected, unless I make a mask on that too. A mask is just if I want to work on one thing, I can draw a mask around something, and then I can mess with the light, the color, for example. I can make it blur. I can do all that stuff. Photoshop is I'm sure there's even more you can do there, but I'm not messing with that. Let's erase these while we're here. Let's erase the traffic signal advisor. I forgot to do that. So once again, I'm looking at the size. Let's see what it does. So it's got a little bit of the leaves overhead. Yeah. So let's see some variations. That one's good. That one's good. Let's go with that one. All right. And then let's move over. Is it hand tool? Oh, okay. There's hotkeys. I need to work on these hotkeys. Hand tool. Oops. Cancel. A little bit big on that, but we'll do it. All right, that's erasing. What you got? Back to the grind. Make that money, Moto Alley. Yeah, I have ADHD, so your streams make perfect sense to me. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, it was cool, Rascal. The other day, I remember. Okay. I guess it's been a while. Sorry for all the questions, but you had a live streaming on your other channels too. Oh, no. You ask away, Rascal. Camera. Ask away. I'm telling you, there's going to be a day that, so every third Wednesday, I have a structured live. And I typically wasn't doing lives in between. And that's why I call it like Beyond the Ride branding. There's branding with a Y, RYDE. I can't spell. Hey, got a carrot. Want a carrot? ADHD. Hey, I got a carrot. She just came up here. You want a carrot? Oh, I don't have my other camera on. You want a carrot? Come here. Come here. Yeah. Can you be on the camera? You got a carrot? Where's the camera? Here's the camera. Yeah. You want a carrot? Come here. Come here. Can you sit? Good girl. Good job. Oh, I'll pick her up in a second. Need the other one. But no, ask away. Ask away. That's I want to have. These are fun. The one thing with, and we're all over the place. Here we go. The one thing with these lives, I didn't even know my channel. Like back in the day, I did editing. I didn't know like what do you I made like a 5-minute video, and I was like, I want to go live. It's the best way to. If I make a video, golly, it's like how many open books did I just have there? That's my life, just a bunch of open books. As far as my storytelling, I made like a 5-7 minute video. So it's like my shortest video that's actually an episode, labeled as an episode. Hey, buddy. And I was excited because I was trying to figure out how do you go live. I don't know. I know my bike. I don't know. In 1987, such and such had a model, blah blah blah, and this particular was the best engine. This was the worst engine. This where they did this, and they got this from a different country. They stole the patent for this. Like, I don't know like intricate details. Okay, I know the fire department and I know the Redskins. Okay, and as far as like I say I don't master anything, right? Maybe I'm close to mastering the Redskins, not the fire department. But no, all jokes aside. And I finally was like, oh, I'm gonna edit. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll edit my videos. It's fun, and it's a way that I can interact with y'all. Like I said, like the community. That's the only thing I wanted to do. The best thing, or the most exciting thing. I told my buddy like over a year ago that I don't want. And I mentioned it before here. I don't care if I had 1,000 people or 10,000 people in one direction, but if I had like a solid like 10. Or I guess it was that extreme, 10,000 and 100. If I had 100 people that it was like that I watch your videos, you watch my videos, we and not just because we feel obligated, but because we want to. And that was my goal, like to build like a community. That would be so much fun to be able to do that. And then when I hit the live the first time, it was like editing was just like and I didn't have a community. I've said before about YouTube and how like my channel's divided between shorts, or was divided by shorts and everything, and anyway, that's a tangent. Ask away. Basically, one day I want to have just and that'll probably be the impromptu live. I don't even know what I'm going to do, where I don't have an agenda, I don't have anything to necessarily talk about, but it's just like whatever, because that to me would be awesome. And that's the thing I was struggling with, like how do you have a live motovlog? And then I watched another guy who was actually live streaming his ride, and I was like, well, I don't think that's probably a good idea. He was doing it. It was a cool concept, but you're focused on the text, the chat, and I was like, man, it's a really cool concept. That'd be badass to be able to ride, and even if it's like a ride and then pull over and joke around, have a good time, whatever. But I don't know. You'd always be looking at chat and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to talk smack, but anyway. Let's see. So my goal, and then for the other channels, and I'll kind of get to work here too. I need to get to work. My goal for the other channels is yes, absolutely live streaming. But so I find that the good thing about me live streaming or me having another channel is I will admit, just like I admitted here, I don't know everything about motorcycles and the intricate details and the history and all that stuff. I do want to make a documentary, but that's after the other documentary's done for work documentary. But I want to get to the point where, yeah, I got it, dude. Move. No. All right, that didn't work. Oh, it's because I'm over here. I'm throwing it out there that I'm new to riding, or I'm new to being a photographer or whatever. So as far as live streaming, yeah, the games obviously that was kind of the goal, was to live stream, and it was like going to be virtually zero edit. I don't even know how I want to do that, because if I do like 0 edits, that's the easiest way to do it, because I really don't have time. Like I was even thinking about in the last live, I was like, I don't know how parents, I don't know how y'all do this, how you make YouTube videos and all that other stuff. I feel like I don't have time as is. Yeah, text-to-speech, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, the way I talk, who knows what would happen? What would be spoken about? All right, let's go. my thumbnails or my pictures, I like a darker theme. So one thing about when you talk about I'll do this again one day and I just won't talk. And I'll just this is what live streaming would be for the other channel. For me, would be I could edit my videos. I can edit my videos. When I live stream and try to edit this, like they don't go well at all, and it takes a lot of concentration. Whereas this, I can get in a chat. I can do a couple things and stuff. This motovlogs and stuff, people are not really interested. I was watching another guy, and Ride of a Lifetime is the guy's channel name, and he was doing Premiere Pro and he was editing a video talking about how he edits. I can move up. Oh, you're good. He was editing a video, and everybody was saying how they hate editing, and I was like, man, I love editing. So this is not the most exciting thing to watch, but just to go over it, absolutely. I have to look to see if that's too black. I can't really tell yet. All right. That's one of my favorite things taken. So this is just that move right there. You talk about, oh, hold on. Go back to what it says. It's the best way is just to read it. So the curve gives you greater control over the tonal range and in contrast in your photo. So doing this, if you can see the black now on the bike, I keep looking over here. I'm not going to see a difference. This right here, that's why I like the bike to look. It doesn't look like that because the sun's hitting it. When I ride or directly hitting it. When I ride, if it's like you talk about golden hour, so you talk about sunrise, sunset, that hour where the lighting is like perfect, golden hour, hence the name. You don't really have to combat it. It's like perfect lighting for you. You don't have to worry about a flash on your camera. You don't have to worry about adding external lights or lights in general. It's like perfect. It's great. You don't have to worry about adding artificial light. That's what I was trying to say. And this is all stuff I want to learn more of than just the general topic. I want to like see and witness it and stuff like that. So that's the goal on the other channel. But that stuff, learning stuff over there can come over here, and I can get better at the color grading and correcting and all that stuff. This is difficult because a GoPro, when I have auto white balance, auto ISO. So ISO is about I mess that up. About how much light is being artificial light, something like that. You're adding light. I don't think it has something to do with sensor. I think that's when we start messing with aperture and stuff. Anyway, I'm probably wrong on that. But when you're adding ISO, you brighten your image up, but you also can introduce noise. Noise, like I talked about, like red pixels on bright white, or bluish pixels or bluish hue or tone when you get to black. So if I were to take this and go like an extreme, you start obviously changing everything. Especially if you start that's all going to start being blown out. But the cool thing about it is, if you wanted to, you could, if you choose to do that on purpose. Once again, I want to know the rules so that when you break them, you know why, or you can say why you broke them. So you could easily see, like a YouTube thumbnail, depending on the topic, where it was more bright, like extremely bright, or you're not going to see this because nobody's going to really pay attention to it. But bright does much better on YouTube as far as the click-through rate. But going back, like I would love to, you get to a certain point where you can just put anything you want, any title. That's why I used to have a title for the or a title for the video, and then my opening would have, black screen, and then a fade with blurry text. Text would sharpen, and it would be what I would want that title to be. And it was more of instead of a knowledge based on clicking. So like when you see the title, you know what that video is going to be about. It was more of, like I said, Oklahoma or Virginia to Oklahoma in one click. That's the title I wanted, and it got perceived wrong, like it was you clicking one time and it was traveling like a quick time lapse or something, whereas the opposite, it was me being inspired by somebody's video, me in Virginia being inspired by somebody's video in Oklahoma to take this ride. That was the message. But obviously, like I said, I changed it. Yeah, I hope so. So the whole studio channel is just about, it's me learning. It's me starting the journey. Like I said, I would love to have been able to film, even if I didn't talk, just film and go over like my ideas, my thought process after. I'm recalling all my 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 rides. I'm recalling all that and regurgitating it on this channel. Whereas the other channel will be, it's like the day of it happens, I film it, I talk through it. But my plan is, just like with Moto Alley, when his series is that channel, for the most part, I just want to do a bunch of series. I want to treat that as, when you talk about the exposure triangle and you're talking about ISO, shutter, and aperture. That's it, right? ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. Yeah. So once you've accomplished that task, learned that, you can film, you can go anywhere and take pictures. And that is what I want to learn, but that's going to be one series. So shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. That's maybe 3 episodes. I don't know how long or how I'm going to do it. And I want to make analogies based on the fire department. Something that obviously in my wheelhouse, that could tie things together and give people a real world example, and kind of maybe teach about the fire service, because that's something that is unique to me, I guess has that option. So when I do ISO, shutter speed, and aperture, once I do that, if I'm saying it right, I hope I'm saying it right, and I tie it all together, then I actually go to a place and I try to like harness that craft, and gain that skill point, as a gamer would say, right? Firefighter gaming, boom, tie in. And then at the end, just like Moto Alley, put those 4 episodes together, for example, including the trip, edit them together so they're, I don't know if I want to make them where they're clearly divided in episodes, or if I just make a masterclass, and then that's a video that if you don't watch, all 3 of them, but you stumble upon my channel, well, there's me, firefighter, going from, learning about 1, 2, and 3, and then going to prove, or going to test those examples, those theories, and gain that experience. So that's that. Moving on. So informative, maybe at some point, but not in the beginning. I'm gonna go over all of it. Oh, okay. So do you have let me finish reading. I want to jump from, about to spit everywhere. I always want to jump from halfway reading the text, and then I got to finish it. Hold on. Yeah. Do you have a, yeah, you're chasing storms too. I saw on your channel, you're chasing storms. Bad storms roll in. Do the masterclass vids for your, oh, come back. Oh, Patreon member. Oh, I'm far away. That's, oh man. So that's one thing that I struggled with. This is way in the future. Let's just say it's a different channel. I don't, I've had conversations because it, and maybe this might be a whole, I might have a couple rants during the live. I got to figure it out. Maybe not today. I'm already 30 minutes over. I understand like why people do that, and they put things behind paywalls. I have a hard time. Like, I get it. Like, obviously it's a goal. If I want to do something like this down the road after retirement, and have this be able to fund my life, and I don't need much. I just want to be able to, with you talk about retirement, I just want to, it would be cool. It's a goal, right? Project 2034. That's what I call it. That's my year for retirement, full retirement. But I don't like putting, like, people put like episodes behind paywalls and stuff. And I don't like that personally, because I feel like my biggest thing is I don't want division. And that's what I talk about. Like, I don't want to divide. I divided this channel between shorts short viewers, long form viewers, some of both, and then when I had Call of Duty, and when I did some shorts with my dog Macy, and that's one of the things I'm fighting with. The conflict of my subscriber number wise. There's so many people that were more than half were based on shorts, and I already discussed I don't want to do that anymore. So when you start putting things behind Patreon and paid walls or memberships and stuff, I get it, because as much time as I put in, I understand like compensation at some point. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. October will be 3 years for motovlogs. I've already started this channel. This channel was like 2010 or 2011, 2012, but as far as making videos, where I was making Call of Duty videos, I was spending 12 plus hours making those videos because of the rendering process and getting it and going through the footage again, let alone playing the game, all this other stuff. So I get it. Like I'm all about supporting creators, not just because I am one or a person that makes videos on the internet. This is free. Instagram is free. Like I put all my free time, I'd say about 90% of my free time, 90. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm either thinking about it or I'm doing something, or I'm filming, I'm riding, I'm doing something, right? And like my mind is constantly here because this is what I absolutely love to do. That being said, I have a hard time finding a way that you could actually sustain, an income without selling out. It's such a hard thing. It's such a hard tiptoe around and all that stuff and talk about. But like I don't have the watch hours. I don't have any of that stuff. So I'm not monetized. I've never been monetized on anything I've made. I used to have affiliate links, so I did make a couple bucks on the Amazon affiliate link or affiliate program. But the only thing, like, I can't put a video out. You see these people that they do videos and they put it behind a paywall, and I'm like, man, it just like, I get it, because you're trying to, with some people, if for example, if I fast forward, this is the whole different conversation, so I got to stop. If 2034 comes around and I retire from the fire department, if I'm not doing this, well, I'll always do this, but it'll go from a weekly release to maybe a monthly release, because if I leave the fire department and I do go to work something else, start a second career somewhere else, be in the fire department for 29 years and working all before I got in at 21. I started working at 16, as far as IRS is concerned, right? Because you cut grass and all that stuff when I was whatever it was, 12, 13, 14, cutting like neighbor's yard, nothing crazy. But if I go to another job or career and I can't do this, where it doesn't like pay the bills or what bills I have, then this goes from, I go from working 10 days a month, 10 24-hour days, to I work 5 days a week and I do something. So that dramatically cuts back my time to, like, obviously just cuts it back. So that's the reason why I'm seeking that goal down the road. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what it's going to be outside of, like, obviously the YouTube ad program and stuff like that. I know that doesn't pay well anyway, but I've turned down 2 sponsors for this channel because I'm not selling out. I'm not going to do like what they were offering. No disrespect to them or to anybody, but I wanted me to be able to stand by whatever, if I did accept a sponsorship and all that stuff. This is a whole different rabbit hole. I got to stop. Anyway, I only mentioned it because I thought it was a good post-retirement. Yeah. Down the road, I want to figure something out, and it may not. It very well won't be this channel. It could be the studio channel. It could be something else. Because either way, it's going to be essentially 9-10 years of experience in a different going forward, and then the experience I've had before. So anyway, yeah. What are we doing here? Oh yeah, thumbnail. All right, let's fly through this real quick. Color. Temperature. So I talked about the temperature. I showed you an example based on my light. Damn, this went all over the place. Went off the rails. They all do that. What was I talking about? 30 minutes? 30 minutes to an hour? If you take the white balance or auto white balance, if you take the white balance, I should just read all this. But basically, you're telling the image what is actually white. It's going to detect it best it can. I've already made some changes, but just for example, before I even made any change to the color or light, I should have hit this. But if you take, let's say this was absolute white, this was white or like a cloud or something, the overall image is going to change. So it made it a lot cooler. I'm not going to use this because I've already made so many different changes that it threw everything off. Because if you go back to light, this is all the same, or from what I did. So I'm going to hit undo. If I went to the very beginning, I could use this, but I'm not really worried about it. You could argue that this is a little warm, but it's also in the morning, whereas at night, and just how I've done it, I have a little warmer sunrise. Let's see, going back to color. So I'm not going to mess with that. I'm not really going to, you can look at the temperature. You're not moving these too far one direction or the other. So if I wanted to do a little warmer or a little cooler, I like a little bit cooler, just my own eye. And when you look at vibrance and saturation, so the difference between this is, without getting too complicated or technical, because I can't go there right now, but saturation is going to take this whole image and it's going to either boost all the colors, extreme, right? Or it's going to dull all the colors, right? So you get your black and white. So if you wanted to do that's the whole image. Now, if you're messing with the vibrance, you're talking about the lower, let's say the lower greens, the lower colors before they get to where the higher higher color is. You're boosting the lower end of them up to maybe closer match what the higher range is. Whereas the saturation, you're just moving everything up. If that makes sense. So I'm going to add more vibrance than I am. I wasn't looking at the motorcycle. I'm going to add a little more color, more vibrance, bringing the duller colors up, then moving everything up. So just a little bit. I'm not worried about tint. I'm not worried about that. Mid-tone shadows and highlights. I'm not going to get too technical on that. Let's see. Effects. So this is what I really like. And I guess if there's any style that I would have, you talk about this, the effects of it. So if I look at the texture, the best place to look at is the road itself. So you look at the asphalt, you can see the detail. So if there's one video where I was kind of like talking about, I don't even know if I was talking about like a mindset, thought, the future, almost like a dream. I took the texture or the clarity, and it looks, see now it looks more, everything is kind of blurred out. It looks like almost like a dream. If somebody was, that's just the best way to say it. So if you take the clarity of the texture and you kind of just like wash it out, it looks, there's no detail, right? You could even take the vignette, which is the corners. If you look at all four corners, not at the same time because your eyes will get twisted, but you can actually start turning those in. If the extreme, it'll just be like an oval, or you can make it black. I think one video I used white as far as my vignette, and I'll show you where I use it exactly, because it was a video that I filmed a year prior. It was actually the last like Uber Eats video that I did. And I filmed it like it was like the last episode or something. And because it was like a memory, that's why I changed the vignette. I changed it to a white. But it's just subtle stuff like that. Does it work? No, not really. No, not for me. I'll spend my 8 hours and get my 50 favorite people. That's all I care about. I like y'all. Y'all are good people. So what I do is I bump up the texture, and I enjoy the heck out of this. That's why I said I nerd out. It's like the difference is me doing this weekly or doing it monthly, but I would still do it no matter what. Make sure that my erase, remember I erased this pole? There's a way to that you can, is this one? Preset? No, not presets. Oh man, I don't know what it is. I'm not going to look it up. But there's a way that you can, is it click and hold? I know how to do it on the phone. Let's see if. Oh, I need to know hotkeys. Anyway, there's a way that you can see by clicking and holding, or there's a button somewhere around here that you can see the original image, like real quick. It's pretty cool. Can't do it. I can do it on my phone. Damn. All right. All right, let's keep going. We're flying now. So the texture, the clarity, bump that up, get some more detail. All right. Oh, that's what I think I was gonna say, Rascal. You need to, not need to, if you want to, you can put that up on your channel. The stuff that you're talking about. All right, if you look at the sky here. So adding grain, I've done this too on a video because it was like an old, like back in time I was talking about, back in the day. But if you add grain to it, I was making it look like a photograph, old photograph. I don't typically mess with that, but that was just the style I was looking at. So grain, no grain. You can see it in this grass over here too. So you can kind of make it like a picture and everything. Let's see. And then the last thing I'll do is the one, like I said, one of my favorite things is the vignette. So what vignette is supposed to do, you don't necessarily do it this extreme, but it brings your eye towards the image, towards the the center of the image, or kind of pulls your eye, draws your eye in. Whether it's white or black, I like the black. I like shooting darker. When it comes to growing up, we always watched X-Men. So Marvel, we were Marvel fans, really enjoyed the movies and all that. The DC, how DC did, not this latest Superman, but that's a different topic. I have a movie review channel. They shot that Superman movie like bright, like Marvel. Well, DC with Batman, especially Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, whatever. But especially like Batman, you think Joker, Heath Ledger and the Joker, best Joker. Everything was like a dark, like gritty, crime-ridden Gotham City. Like it was a vibe, right? I love the way that they shot their videos or their movies, and especially because it was different from Marvel. You think of Marvel, obviously Marvel was way more popular, made more money. There's outside of Spider-Man, I guess, but there's not a lot of reboots in Marvel because, Hulk was another one, because they're very successful, and it has something to do with writers too and the characters and all that. But I like how, if you look at Batman, you think about Batman, and this is all about this all makes sense, I promise. Batman, when I was growing up in the 90s, right? So, or Batman Returns, I think, or whatever it was, Michael Keaton. After that, when you started having like Jim Carrey as the Riddler, you had Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. It was cartoony. It was vibrant colors, vibrance, saturation, boosted up. It was cartoony and gimmicky and stuff like that. Not a fan. As a kid, it was great, but it was supposed to be for kids, right? Well, now the way they were doing it, especially DC, there was a lot more. It was more of an older age group, right? So maybe kids get away with a lot more now, but maybe they weren't watching that, or they weren't allowed to watch that, or supervision or whatever it is. The movies, you gotta have an adult with you during certain movies. I think some of them are rated R, maybe, I don't know, I might be mistaken, but they were a lot more about. They were just opposite. They were the opposite. They weren't trying to be like Marvel. They weren't trying to be like somebody else. They were going to do their own thing, and they leaned into, instead of superheroes and superpowers, it was more about, crime, and I mean, you could argue it was mental health. The Joker, especially the Joaquin Phoenix. I didn't see the second one. I heard it was terrible, and I can't, because the first Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was awesome. So, but that was the same thing. It was still shot, and I know that was a different time. And what was it, the 70s, 80s, or whatever? I don't remember. But there was a different time period, and it was shot almost like an orange look. So you think of like the temperature. They did it to where it looked a little older, You know, not just the costumes and the cars, the vehicles, technology, TVs, TV show, for example, that was on, but it makes the vibe. Music is another thing. That's a different topic, but music and me are like, we're like this now. And it's not necessarily today's music, as I don't really listen to music. I just downloaded Spotify. I've had Pandora for like ever. And then I just heard that nobody uses that the other day. They were all using their Spotify account. Hey, use my playlist, or hey, you download it now. You can log into the playlist, and I was at work and we were making a playlist working out. It was pretty funny going back and forth. But music with Epidemic Sound in the soundtrack for a movie, and how that can change. So the color that we're looking at today, the imagery that we're looking at, when I was talking about, the two paths, right? Robert Frost, comes across a fork in the road, right? Taking the path less traveled. So the same thing, like you have your direction, the butterfly effect. There's so many things that symbolism when you're approaching that fork in the road. As I was talking about earlier in the stream about the fork in the bridge over here, this part goes down, it descends. The other part, as you can see in front of me, it obviously descends, but it's more straight because we're going underneath that path. That could have been something talking about it right now, where it went, a different path, a different, took the higher road. It could be, a whole different video. Maybe instead of taking the high road, I went down low and I went arguing over something stupid, and the high road would have been, as I'm looking at this video, I should have been on this path or something, too far to make that, but I don't know. You could get closer in this video and actually make an argument about that. So anyway, this is cool. It's such a fun idea, and that's why, and I keep going back to the other channel, but I'm definitely not trying to promote that. But the ability to branch off, I guess, creatively and tell a different story. So there's a place for the stories here, and a place for stories over another channel or anything else, whether it's not filmed or not filmed. So I don't know. That's a tangent. This whole thing's been riddled with tangents, but I love it. I love that you guys are here. I love that you're asking questions. Ask away. I promise. To a fault, I'll stop as I've already done, and probably could have done this in 15-20 minutes. I'm sure I could have, and maybe I'll record a video of me doing this and not talk. But if you're here, if anybody's here and they're asking questions, I promise you I'm not going to ignore you. That's the opposite of what you want to do on a live, or what I would do in general. That's like you talking to me and I'm going to be on my phone the whole time in person. So no, we're good. Ask away. All right, so I'm going to add, once again, I like to draw in just a little bit. It's very subtle. You can see it over here. The darkening over here made that portion of the sky dark, whereas this was so bright that it didn't do anything, right? And if I did the opposite, it would kind of just bring it more so where it would equal that. But then I've got white here. I just like a darker theme. Like I said, like that DC, I like the darker vignette. Grain we talked about, detailing. No, I don't need any. There's no noise reduction. I don't need that. One thing with lens blur. Let's see.